What's good, y'all? So today we're going to talk about a very, very important topic, right? Basically, we want to talk about why you cannot blame the white man, okay? We understand this is a very hot topic, so we're going to get into deep detail about it while I beat Rel in pool, obviously. Because the series right now is 1-1 and it's best out of 7. So let's get into the topic, y'all.
We got beef right now. I'm not losing game 3.
Let's get started. Let's get started.
I promise you. So first thing I want to talk about, though, is debt, bro. And student loan debt in particular, because when we looked it up, what we saw is that black people take out the most student loan debt, then actually white people come second, and the Hispanic people are third. So that's interesting to me because black people take out the most debt, but then now you look at graduation rates, black people graduate the least, then it will be Hispanic people second, and then white people tend to graduate college the most.
Yep.
Right, statistically. So I kind of want to hear what you think about that. Like, what's your take on that statistic?
So when it comes down to it, right, I think the biggest thing in debt is I'm never mad at real estate debt. I'm not particularly mad at car debt, depending on the car it is and the situation you're in. But what I get upset with is this debt part right here, right? Student loans. Because what it shows is black people are okay with taking on debt, right? Mm-hmm. But they're not finishing at the same clip.
Right.
It's actually a 20% gap between white people, then Hispanics. That's a 20% gap. And then black people are all the way at the bottom, right? Yeah. Now, when I think about this, I'm like, why is that? Because you're okay with taking on debt. Now, is that really because of your family situation? You can't afford it? Because we know blacks obviously struggle with the family dynamic, right?
Right.
But is it really that I'm going to take on debt, I'm not finishing because I had a lack of education when it came to high school? Or is it because I'm at the league, I just don't know what to do anymore, and I'm not going to try? Well, like, that's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to that, what I would say is, yes, so there's a lack of education when it comes to even like financing debt in the first place, right? As this stuff wasn't really taught to a lot of black families. And then you have the dynamic where, like, okay, they're graduating the least, but you have to look at the quality of schooling as well. Like, I feel like people don't really highlight that side of the story, where the quality of schooling in a lot of the black neighborhoods around the country is a lot poorer than the quality of schooling that, let's say, white neighborhoods have. So
you know I'm stripes, right? This man's all on his head right now. Keep on going, bro.
Yo,
I appreciate you. I wasn't gonna say nothing. Why would I say nothing? Why would I say something?
I see how you move it.
That's crazy.
I see how you move it. I'll tell you, game 3 we got real beef. Isn't that? You
wow. Okay, so there we go. I made it up for you.
Facts.
There you go. Here we go.
For real.
Now it's tied. But now continue with your story.
But yeah, bro. Like, I really feel like people are not highlighting the education disparity. That's the real issue, bro. That's the real issue, because that's why they're not graduating at the same clip. Like, think about it, bro. You're not really prepared for the rigor of college if the school you came from is teaching you so poorly.
Right.
And I'm not saying to just get to college and give up because they're turning up on you like, man, this is a lot harder than I thought. But I'm just saying that you can't ignore the fact either.
Yeah, you know, I agree with you. I think one of the biggest things is we can't go back and ignore the fact that at the end of the day, the way this country was started was on the impact of slavery, right? Like, slavery was a huge part of it. Now, we all know that white people ran slavery, okay? That's just not a debate. Yeah. So when it comes down to it, we can't forget about the past. However, what I would like to say is, and I want to talk to my black people and my Hispanic people here, at the end of the day, if you're able to make it to college, now it's on you, because you took on that debt, right? You took on the debt on your parents, because they usually have to co-sign on this. Right. Now, are you going to complete that and graduate, or are you going to let your parents kind of struggle? Because at the end of the day, we know what the income is of black people and Hispanic people. So it's up to you now to think about it and say, am I okay with that? Am I going to let history be my downfall? Or am I going to look at the future and say, yeah, nah, this is not cool with me. I got my mom to take care of. I got my dad to take care of. I got my sister, my brother, whatever it may be. So that's how I think about it, right? Because it's a basketball analogy. When people get hurt and injured, right? It's like, yo, I was amazing in high school. I got hurt in college. You made it to college ball, right? Now, bro, you're going to sit back and be like, I'm injured. It is what it is. Accept it, or you're going to fight back, right? So that's how I think about it.
Yeah, but my issue with it is, like, I feel like if we use that basketball analogy, a player gets hurt, right? Now, imagine a player gets hurt, which is extremely understandable, and something they cannot control, and then people are ridiculing them for performing poorly. It's like, you could try your hardest, but if you got a torn ACL, bro, like, you're not going to be as good as you were when you were a healthy player.
Completely understand that.
And so it's like, while you try to fight back and be a great player again, there has to be a change as far as going back to the real situation at hand, is like we still have to change the system now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the system has to change to where we don't have this educational like inequality.
Right.
Like we need to get like funding for these schools. Like you know I'm coming from an education background. Like the funding is terrible. Like I've been at schools where they don't have funding to have a sports team. They don't have AP classes. You don't have funding for no type of extracurricular activities or nothing like that. And then I've seen the educational disparity where you go to like, let's say white schools, and they have all these things.
Absolutely,
and the teachers are teaching them at a college pace. So by the time you get to college, it's just regular.
Yeah. But see, this is my thing. I think what it comes down to is if you, as you said, if you have an ACL injury, right? You can either choose to do two things. Derrick Rose got hurt, Blake Griffin got hurt, Greg Oden got hurt. Now, at the end of the day, either you could accept it and be like, yo, I'm down bad right now. It's over for me. I keep on getting hurt over and over. Odds are not in my favor. Or, and say, yeah, I accept odds are not in my favor, but I'm going to try. I'm going to fight back. And that's my biggest thing. I think we have the culture. Misery loves company. Yeah. So every time we feel bad about ourselves, we're not going to take it there. You have to think about the past and what your forefathers went through. Like, yo, they struggled to bring you here. Don't let them down. Right. Don't do that. Because if Martin Luther King went through everything he went through to get to a certain point, right? I'm Indian. So Gandhi went through his thing. We really just going to sit back and be like, yeah, they did their thing, whatever. Nah, you have so much on the line. Either you make excuses for yourself and your family and say, I know I'm down bad, I can't do anything about it. Or you say, I'm down bad, but I'm going to control what I can control and get after it. Yeah, right?
And
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm going to always... Yeah, yes, your turn. I'm gonna always like be on the side of you have to still work through your circumstances. So I completely agree with that heavily. I think it just becomes a danger zone sometimes when we just be on some like pull yourself up by the bootstraps type of narrative. And I'm not saying that's the narrative you're pushing because I know you know better, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
But just for clarity for the audience, like it's like sometimes people just be like, yo, you just gotta work through it. Yeah. And then we ignore like the situation at hand. It's like more so we have to work on both things. Like you as an individual should still try to beat your circumstances, but when it comes to, we still have to fight. So for example, like, dang, that was bad. For example,
no, we're sticking it up right now, but honestly it's a passionate, right? Like we're passionate about this topic.
Now big fact actually. So you know, for example, like people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, whoever else you want to bring, any type of activists putting heavy change in the community, they didn't just work hard to individually rise up. They still had to work on the macro.
I hit yours.
Oh, for real?
I hit yours thinking, yeah, we're not into this right now. But
that's how you know we into the topic.
But that I feel you on it. I definitely agree with what you're saying on that. Yeah. But that's my point, right? Either you look up to them and you're like, yeah, this is what it is, and this is what I have to do, or you accept it. Now, let's not even talk about college, right? Let's just talk about everyday life. Now, when it comes down to it, I think this is a huge thing that I've learned in the corporate field. Yeah. Now, when you're black or you're Hispanic and you're in the corporate field, you feel like things are against you, you have two choices. Either you accept that choice and say, yeah, I can't be myself here. I'm not comfortable here. I'm going to leave this job, which is cool. Because at the end of the day, you want to feel comfortable where you are, right? However, you could accept that. Or what you could do is say, I'm going to use the black card against them because they have to cater to me, right? I'm going to use the Hispanic card against them and they have to cater to me. If you're able to do that, my mentor told me straight off rip, the more communities you get involved in at your job that are related to black people, Hispanic people, even the Asian community, they will respect you, and that goes into your promotion. Yeah. All right, so use that to your advantage. Don't just sit back and say, I can't be myself. Accept that they are not rooting for you, and you got to fight harder. That's what it is.
Yeah, I agree. You got like control what you can control is what it comes down to. You know what I mean? So like I said, like on a micro level, you got to control what you can control. As we do fight against the system and try to, you know, even the playing field, and ways we could do that, like while we speak on that, like solutions is entrepreneurship or ownership or starting your own. Like I always said this, like I'm not begging to get at nobody's table ever. Like I'm forever gonna make my own table. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to sit with y'all if y'all want me there. I actually would rather make my own table.
That's tough.
Oh,
that's tough.
Come on, bro. Like, I'm getting robbed out here.
That's very tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Heavy on it, but like that's important. And
that is important.
You know, and as far as like ownership, I also want to talk about like real estate, how it's affected like real estate.
Yeah. I think before we go into real estate, right? I think you said an important point right there. Like,
you made one, right?
Yeah, I did. You have to basically, at the end of the day, as you said, You have to make your own way, right? Create your own lane. Another thing that I feel like in the minority setting, we love to make excuses, but we hate to find solutions. At the end of the day, we're just gonna talk about it. Like, yo, I had a bad day. No, I had a worse day. No, you had a worse day. I had a worse day.
Facts.
Who cares if you had a worse day? Go and find the damn solution to your problems, right? Because at the end of the day, no one cares if you had a bad day. No one cares if you had a rough week, because they care about themselves. You have to pick yourself up to be successful. That's just what matters. So find a skill. Be a coder. You don't need any graduation of college or university to be a coder. Go to a boot camp, do what you have to do, and then you can get paid $150K. Because you have a skill that they cannot deny because you're so good at it. That's what I think is super important.
There's so many ways to get a bag now. Like, this is the power of information. So as we talk about like racial disparity at the
I wanted that
one. See before people weren't even allowed to read. Like,
now we have Google for free. You can get
Google
free
for
EBX.
Free. That's the thing. So when it comes to actually working through your circumstances, see, our ancestors or people even not that long ago, we're talking just like 50, 60 years ago, were not allowed to read or write, literally. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is some of our grandparents. And so I can't be mad that they succumbed to their circumstances. But when it comes to us, we have Google at the tip of our fingertips. Let's go.
I've literally made more balls than you have for you.
I know.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're tied.
We're tied right now. Copy. Yeah. Oh, wow, that's wild.
This guy stinks. This guy's actually terrible. I appreciate you, boss.
Say less. You still gonna miss.
I probably will.
Like, whatever though. Nah, but yeah, that's an important point to say. It's like, yo, you have the world at your fingertips with Google. You have to utilize that. I don't want to hear excuses now on the system necessarily. Like, let's not.
Give it to me,
trash, bro. Whatever. Like, I'm not even worried for real. But like, I don't want to hear excuses too much. Because at the end of the day, there's ways to get a bag. You could literally learn how to, for example, we talked about option trading on the channel a little bit. You can learn the option trade. Anybody can do that.
That's another thing I want to say, guys. Look, we talk about finance a lot, stock market a lot. Racism does not apply when it comes to stocks. Stocks cannot be racist to you. Right. Markets cannot be racist to you, right? So we got to stop using that as an excuse. I just came back from Colombia. I got random checked at the airport. I could cry about it, or I could just say, yeah, they got to do what they got to do. I can't control that. What I can control is myself, right? That's what it comes down to. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. And then touching on real estate too.
Go ahead.
Like, so there was definitely like real estate discrimination that went on coming up. That's why you see such segregation in communities. And if you haven't checked out our vlog, please check it out. We had a vlog that talked about the other side of New York. So growing up here in Long Island, we noticed the crazy segregation that happens in Long Island. Like, it's ridiculous. And that was due to something called redlining, where like black people were kept out of areas. They were either kept out of areas or they weren't getting funding. So something else we talked about on the channel is FHA loans. Yeah. And where you could get 3.5% down payment on that home. And when FHA loans were created, they were literally, like, black people were literally not allowed to use them.
And that's another thing that obviously held them back, right?
Yes, absolutely held them back. Because what you notice if you're in the real estate game is buying and holding is the best way to, I'm tough with it, I ain't gonna lie. But buying and holding is the best way to sustain wealth in a family. We talk about generational wealth. A lot of like white families and wealthy families in general kind of hold real estate throughout generations. But if you were given, you weren't like allowed to have that head start. Like, black people were not even allowed to have that head start, literally. So they're actually trying to play catch up. And so I kind of feel a way too with that, because we know that real estate helped create 90% of the world's millionaires. 90% of the world's millionaires. And we weren't even allowed to have access to real estate. So now we're playing catch up, and channels like Bag Talk or other channels that you guys may watch are how we create change to now start getting us knowledge on real estate and stocks and stuff like that.
This is another thing, like what you're saying about Bag Talk, right? Guys, in our family, no one really, retired with more than $500,000.
Not even close.
That was not a thing. So when we go and speak at these schools, when we go and speak at these high schools or colleges or universities, what it comes down to is we take it upon ourselves to change our lives. And I'm not saying it's easy. We stay up. What time did I come back from the city yesterday from my car rental?
Like 3?
Yeah, bro. Like, it's not easy, right? You gotta do what you gotta do. And all we're trying to say is either you make excuses for yourself and your family, or you look at what the future has. You can't change the past. We know it was tough. No one is saying it's easy. We're not trying to even go down that alley, right? But at the end of the day, You gotta control what you can control. That's what really matters, bro.
Yeah, and I want to say just one last thing on that. Tough one.
I literally just slipped my hand.
I want to say one last thing on that. It's just that although we're telling everyone to stop blaming the white man, right, and actually, you know, work through your circumstances, I want to make sure that it's clear that we're also saying that we understand everything that happened to systematically hold people back.
Yeah, that was not a thing. Like, we're not ignoring that.
We'll never ignore that, and it needs to be fought just as hard. So as hard as you're fighting out of your circumstances, we still need to have another side of us that's fighting to still dismantle the system, because it's not, we can't just settle for this. Like, this ain't okay. It's not right.
Like, imagine someone who went to therapy, right? Imagine you're going to therapy and someone tells you, bro, like, you're in therapy. Well, guess what? It's over, right? Like, get over it. It's okay. You talk your feelings out. It's whatever. Bro. You went through some trauma. You'll be all right. That's how someone who's black and Hispanic and who went through some crazy trauma from their past, that's how they feel. It's your turn, by the way.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah, that's how they feel.
Bro.
You can't just do that, right? Like, imagine you got raped and then all of a sudden someone tells you, you're not raped now, right? So why are you still crying about it? Imagine that happens to someone. That's how someone feels. So rather than feeling like, yo, I'm going to be like, get over your past, bro. Each one teach one. If you know something, go and hook someone up that you believe is family or friend to help them out too. That's how you're going to get better.
The rape analogy is not even dragged when you actually look at what has happened in history. Rape is kind of like really what has happened, both figuratively and literally, to black people in this country. And so I don't even want to, like, please stop trying to tell people to get over it, to pick themselves up by the bootstraps, because if you're not going to tell a rape victim that, don't necessarily tell black people that. You still going to tell a rape victim or anybody else, still seek therapy, still get your help, but at the same time, let's not ignore the fact that they were raped, simply put.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, guys, you guys have to understand both sides and do what's best for you. The moral of this episode is control what you control. I know we spoke a lot about Hispanics. I know we spoke a lot about black people. And if you're some other race, obviously I'm Indian, right? So we go through stuff as well. But for my Indian people out there, don't make excuses, y'all. Like, you guys have immigrant parents. I have immigrant parents, right? Accept what they went through and realize that it will never be as hard as it was for them, for you. Accept that. When you accept that and you work for it, you will be okay. But at the end of the day, I'm about to beat Rel and Poole right now, right? We're about to finish it all. It's actually a tie game, so it's about to be a mixie. We're going to fast forward and find out who wins. Let's get to it.
Copy that. None.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Yeah!
Oh my gosh, bro.
Come on! All right, y'all. So we just won. I'm sorry. On purpose. I just won. How do you feel about this?
I didn't lose. I just didn't win.
The point is to not make excuses. Just remember that, all right? Control what you control.
Bro, stop talking to me, bro.
So at the end of the day, guys, hopefully you like this kind of episode. Hopefully you love when I win, because I usually do. But
bro, it's 2-1. Yo, game 4, bro. Game 4, I swear I'm not losing, bro. If I lose,
everyone
I'm back
in
to
the group right now make fun of him. Everyone in Discord make fun of him. He lost again. But anyways, y'all, you guys already know what to do. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Plus, hit that little notification bell because we drop
2 videos a week, whatever, yo.
And you don't want to miss them. Check us out next week. Actually, check us out on Wednesday. But until then, peace.